Hi everybody, today I'm doing the Reading Habits book tag. So this tag was actually made by the book Jazz, but unfortunately the channel does not exist anymore and the original video is also not up anymore. But this was a pretty popular tag, so you can find a lot of channels and also a lot of blogs doing this tag. For one, Elliot Brooks did it a few years ago. And let's get right into it. So the first question is, do you have a certain place at home for reading? So I don't have a dedicated place to read, but I usually just read right here at my desk. As you can see, I have books here, one book, another book. Here are a few books. So yeah, there are more actually lying around. So yeah, in the day I work here, and then later on, this is actually, I don't live in a pretty big place, so this is the place where I do most of my stuff during the day, especially right now where I'm stuck at home. Then the next question is bookmark or random piece of paper. I can show this again. Bookmark. I like bookmarks. I like the ones that actually not sponsored. Book Depository sends you bookmarks here, and I use those usually quite a lot. And yeah, I use bookmarks. I think if I wouldn't have bookmarks, I would just use a piece of paper. But yeah, I like bookmarks. The third question is, can you just stop reading, or do you have to stop after a chapter / a certain amount of pages? So for me, I usually want to finish at a chapter. Unless I have to stop reading for some reason, I usually try to finish a chapter. I sometimes plan how much I want to read for a day, but that usually doesn't work out. But yeah, I like to just look ahead how long a chapter is and then decide how many I want to read. I always try to finish my sitting at the end of a chapter. Do you eat or drink while reading? So sometimes, but not usually. I will drink water or sometimes tea. I usually don't eat while reading. Drinking water is fine. Drinking coffee or tea is fine as long as I don't damage the book. If I drink something, I try to keep it far away from the book. So yeah, eating no, drinking yes. Number 5, multitasking, music or TV while reading. I can't watch TV while reading. I don't know why you would do that. I don't think you could focus on either thing. Music is a thing that I know a lot of people like to read while listening to music. I tried that, but I don't really enjoy that. I feel like the music kind of distracts me and it sometimes takes me out of the story if it doesn't match the scene I'm reading. So yeah, usually no, I just read in silence. Yeah, maybe if I'm reading A Song of Ice and Fire or so, I'll put on some tracks from the Game of Thrones soundtrack and just put them down very low just to have it in the background. But yeah, usually no, I don't listen to music, and especially I don't watch TV while reading. Question 6, one book at a time or several at once? So usually I have several at once. Usually I have two. I can show you right now what I'm reading. So I'm reading The Final Empire, which is a big book, and I'm reading Might of the Seven Kingdoms, which is a smaller and lighter-hearted book. So usually I'm into epic fantasy right now, so I always combine one pretty big epic book with one more shorter or light-hearted book, which isn't the same tone. But yeah, now since we are in the coronavirus pandemic, I am staying home and I just try to stick to one book. So this is actually a novella collection. So I finished one novella and then I'm going to read the next novella when I'm done with the book. So right now I'm technically reading two, but I'm actually just reading one book. So usually what I do is I have my big heavy book that I read at home, and I have another smaller book that I read on commutes or something. But since I don't have any commute right now, I'm not doing that. But that's what I would usually do. What I would also sometimes do is if I'm going to the gym or doing cardio, I would try to listen to audiobooks. But I'm not that much into audiobooks, so that might or might not happen. But yeah, so I usually have 2 or 3 books going at a time. But right now I'm trying to focus on one, though I am often tempted to pick up another one. So today, I just picked off A Feast for Crows off my shelf, despite the fact that I still have 200 pages left in The Final Empire. I just picked this off because I was interested in reading this, and this is actually the book I'll read after I'm finished with The Final Empire. But I just picked it off my shelf and really felt like reading it because I was missing the world. But yeah, I think I'll finish this and then go into this. Question 7, reading at home or everywhere? So I kind of answered this already. So usually I read at home, I read on my commutes, and sometimes if I find time when, like if I have a break in university or a longer break between two lectures, I like to read. But yeah, mainly I read at home, and I try to get in some reading when I'm gone from home. But yeah, that's more like just get some reading in whenever you have free time. But yeah, most of my reading is at home. All right, question 8, reading out loud or silently in your head? So I don't read out loud, I read silently in my head. So English isn't actually my first language, so reading, and I mostly read English books, so reading it out loud would slow me down quite a lot. And I actually already am quite a slow reader, so I don't think it would help a lot with that. I'm reading silently mostly. I don't know. Let me know. Do you guys read out loud when you read? I don't actually think anybody I know does that. Question 9. Do you read ahead or even skip pages? No, at least not on purpose. Like sometimes I'll be checking like how long a chapter is and I just glance at a page and I see something, but I immediately try to not remember it. So I don't like doing that. Sometimes obviously like when you're reading you just kind of look ahead a few paragraphs or something. But yeah, other than that I don't skip pages or just read ahead. Number 10, breaking the spine or keeping it like new. So I prefer to keep it like new, but if it breaks, I do not mind that much. I mostly read paperbacks, and I feel like if the spine breaks a little bit, it's still okay. But yeah, I try not to break them, obviously. And yeah, what is really great is like if you have these big floppy paperbacks that you can just open, like you can put it on your table and it stays open. The good thing with these is I feel like their spines don't break as easily. Like I had the first book in here, Song of Ice and Fire, A Game of Thrones, open for multiple months on my table, and the spine is perfect. I like these big floppy paperbacks so that the spine doesn't break, but if it ends up breaking, it's okay. As long as the book still holds, I'm fine. I hope my books don't just fall apart at some point. But maybe if the spine breaks, that would happen if I reread them. But yeah, so I prefer to keep it new, but I don't try to freak out if I break the spine. And the last question is, do you write in your books? So no, in fiction books, I don't write. I don't annotate my books. In like textbooks and stuff, if I own the textbook, I may do it, but like usually like if I'm just reading a story, I'm just wanting to read the story. I don't want to analyze what is happening too much, like while I'm reading it. After I read something, or when I'm finished with the chapter, I like to like write out my thoughts. I am on a Discord server where I communicate with some people, just writing down my thoughts, but I don't actually write in the book. All right, that was the Reading Habits book tag. It was quite a fun one, so if you want to do it, I will tag you. And also I'm tagging Knickknacks Corner, Ravenbell Books, and Bearded Bookworm. I'll let those 3 know. I'll link their channels down below, so check those out. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, check out my other videos. Some should have showed up on the screen right now. Thanks for watching. Leave a like, leave a comment, leave a subscribe. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.